I had a family come backstage one time with their grandmother. It was like older woman, and they were all very nice. And like there was a pause, and she said, "So how long have you been in vaudeville?" I was like, "Wow, I guess since 1910." I don't know how to answer that question.
Seems like having kids is a good way to make good decisions, to like force yourself into good decisions. Did you find that? Like it really got you to straighten up and
Well, I mean, as soon as I knew our son was going to be born, I that's when I got life insurance and all that sort of thing, because it's like it's not about you anymore.
Yeah.
It's like there's this other human being who demands that I be a better person than I am prior to knowing that I have a child coming. It forces you to step up to the plate. You meet people out on the road, and especially right after your first child is born, and they go, "I've got a little one at home too," and then they show you a picture of their dog.
Oh, yeah.
What?
And it's always like a little awkward where you go, "Are we really talking about the same thing?"
Or your baby is very ugly.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but you're trying to be polite. Wow. So we're sharing in this thing. Yeah, you got a dog, and I have a human.
Oh my God.
I have a little baby human.
Yeah, the whole dog as babies things. I mean, my dogs definitely gave me a new sort of responsibility that I didn't feel prior to having dogs, but I would never put them on the same level as that. And even I will go as far to say when I talk about having dogs and then someone comes up and shows me a picture of their dog, I don't care. There's literally, I don't know that I've ever seen a dog that I've really been like, wow,
Yeah.
Sorry, Noah. Like, I realize there's people in the room that have shown me their dogs. I know you don't care about my dog. And I still, even when I'm showing the picture, I do know.
Yeah.
There's no way you care.
It's hard to be taken aback at a photo of a dog where you go, "Oh my God!"
I know. It's unless they're doing something.
I think it'd be easier for me with the dog than the baby. Like if a stranger is showing you their baby, it's like, yeah, that's just another stranger you're showing me.
Oh yeah, like it's a new.
Which is weird as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that. Like I remember looking at pictures of babies before I had one, and go, "Why are you showing me? What am I supposed to say?"
Yeah.
It's a day old. It's got a hat on and a blanket, and I just see this squished up face. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, looking good, killing it. Your baby's killing it.
Wow, look at that! Look at that baby with the little nose and everything.
God. Yeah. What is the best? Because I always hit that scenario where someone's showing me a newborn baby, and I go, "You haven't prepared for that. You know this is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think of some what are the best? Looks fresh."
Yeah.
So young. Oh my God, that baby looks so young.
That thing
Like
looks
that's
new.
a compliment, right? To say you look young.
Yeah, that is good.
They don't look like a parent, so you can't be like, "Oh, she looks silly." First of all,
She looks rested. Maybe something like that.
But then you go to the other extreme, where when it's your kid, it's a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking at the sonogram pictures of my son and going, "I think he kind of looks like me." He's not even out here yet, and I already see a resemblance, so.
Yeah, I sometimes just go, I can only imagine what this means to you. Like, I acknowledge that this is something that I can't possibly understand how much you love showing me this picture right now. But I'm so happy for you that you're feeling that you knew dad. Like, that's because you can't get there.
Yeah.
Because it's just, and everyone was a baby. Every single person has been a baby and had people go, "Oh, like everyone." And I always think about that. Like I did a stand-up bit about it, but like every baby is just going to be some guy.
Yeah.
I know, isn't that weird? When you look at a little baby and go, one day that thing might be holding an attaché case. That little baby's going to have a 3-piece suit on.
Yeah.
And
that baby's
going to work.
That baby's going to be in line at TJ Maxx someday.
Right.
Yeah.
Debating over that weird popcorn they have. That's going to be that baby's future.
Yes.
Should I get it? Does anybody want
stale?
this? Yeah, it
like,
looks
why are
stale.
they selling it?
You're going to be looking at a baby and think at some point in that baby's life, he's going to be saying, "Get off my lawn!"
Yes. Or like any little girl. Whenever I see a little girl that's just like full of wonder and adorable, I'm just like, she one day is gonna be like, why isn't he texting me back? Like I just feel I want to just grab little girls and be like, it's gonna be okay. Like you're gonna go through so much, and I know boys go through heartbreak too, but for some reason, little girls, I'm just like, you're gonna get screwed over so much, and I want to warn them, and that's just never.
We're supposed to text people back.
If you don't know who Brian Regan is, what is wrong with you? Right, Chad Zumock?
I think every young comic or every comic has Googled Brian Regan. We've all watched you, just learning how we stink.
Well, no. Brian Regan is someone that you should not watch as a new comic because it will depress you so much.
Yeah.
Because you will compare yourself and you'll say, I will never be that. And it's one of those people, like, he's one of those people that everyone becomes obsessed with so early on because he is the best. And then you get, even now, as a comic who's been doing it 16 years, I watch him and I get depressed. So you got to pick and choose. Because I'm just like, I will never be that. That is how great Brian Regan is. I'm sorry to just like keep going and make you sit here awkwardly.
It's very, very,
but
very
it's
nice.
True. And but I just love you, and I'm so excited that you're here.
That is very, very kind. I'm worried that no matter what I say next, people at home are gonna go, that didn't sound very funny.
Yep. That's always what happens. That's always. I mean, how often does that happen to you?
No, that's incredibly kind words.
Well, it's true.
Thank you very much. You know, Ron Bennington.
The great Ron Bennington.
The great Ron Bennington. He thought it would be funny one time to bring me up with an intro that no one could possibly follow. So he said, ladies, this is in a comedy club. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, this next comedian, I don't know how to say this, but I'm telling you right now, within 10 seconds, you will literally fall off your chairs. You will be on your back laughing at the top of your lungs. I guarantee you, within 10 seconds, you're going to go, this is the absolute funniest guy I've ever seen in my life. So I went on stage and, of course, bombed after that. You know, like, how can you possibly follow that?
10 seconds.
10-second rule. You get your money back.
I love that.
He was just being playful.
That's so funny.
It was fun.
One of the worst intros I ever heard, and I'll never forget it because as soon as I heard it, I was like, remember this forever. It was in Mason City, Illinois, the smallest comedy club I've ever been to. You've been there, Mason City Limits. It was like an old, it's not around anymore. I mean, this town was literally a couple hundred people in this town in Illinois. And the guy brought up a guest spot, and he goes, hey, this next guy just sent off a tape to Letterman, and we wish him a lot of luck with that. Keep going. And we wish him, sent off a tape.
Wow.
And we wish him a lot of luck with that.
Wow.
That's so good.
One of the ones I heard was an MC asked a comedian, what should I say about you? And the guy said, tell him that this was back when Star Search was on.
Sure.
Tell him that I might be auditioning for Star Search in 6 months. Wow. This guy, he might be auditioning for Star Search in 6 months.
He hasn't made up his mind, but it might happen.
It might happen that he might audition for Star Search.
I got one the other day where this guy was like, all right, your next comic, I've actually never heard of this guy. Let's give it up for Tom.
Wow.
I've never heard of this guy, but I've heard he's good.
Yeah.
You couldn't have just, it's
it's...
Richie Minervini, very funny comedian from Long Island. When I first went out on the road, he had told me, hey, because he ran a club in Long Island, he said, if you're ever in town, give me a call. So I decided to go out and try to get into comedy clubs, and I gave him a call. And there was a bunch of comedians on the show, and he gets on stage, and his intro of me was, you know how sometimes you come across somebody, you meet them, and you say, hey, man, if you're ever in town, give me a call. And then you expect, that's kind of the end of that. Well, this next guy, he called. So please welcome Brian Regan.
I actually love that story. Because
that was so funny.
That's true. I mean, that most of the time when you say, hey, because I do that a lot to comics I meet on the road. I go, if MCs I work with, and I go, if you ever want a guest set or if I'm ever in a town where you happen to be, you got one. Just follow up. And I really do mean it, but so few people actually are the squeaky wheel and ask for things when there's opportunities. And I think that's, and when people do ask me for things, I always go, I'll at least give them one shot. I'll go, yeah. Like, even if I've never heard of you, for a guest set, if I can give it, I will give it, because I like people who ask for things and believe in themselves. Were you like that coming up? Did you? It sounds like if there was an opportunity, you called, you would drive out of your way to go do gigs.
Yeah.
I mean, you.
Well, I'm going to date myself, but when I first went out to try to get into comedy clubs, you had to go to the club.
Yeah.
You know, there was no. This was pre-VHS tape.
Wow.
I remember when VHS tapes came around and people were going, now you can just send a tape. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I literally would take Greyhound buses to every comedy club I could get to and go on and just do a guest set and see if they would book me.
Yeah.
You know, and but it was thrilling. I mean, that was part of what was thrilling. I'm this young guy and I'm taking buses to these little obscure towns and going on at the Chuckle House and some goofy little city and seeing if they'd book me. You know, so that's how I had to do it.
I agree. I think I look back so often on those bus trips and staying in comedy condos and showing up at clubs and not knowing
Way
who
to describe my
to.
career.
I mean, yeah, your current career. But you look back and you go, it didn't seem bad back then. People can kind of, struggling on the road, but it never felt like work. Now doing that, I would never do those things because my time is worth more. But it back then, it never felt. It was exciting. It was fun, and it was what we loved to do.
Right, because you don't, it's adventurous. I remember being on an overnight Greyhound bus, and you're just sitting there, and your brain is going off in a million different directions, and I could hear the woman behind me talking to the guy next to her. It was like 3 a.m, and she said, "I know my brother killed somebody." And I'm like, I don't want to be hearing this. Like, am I supposed to get up and go to the bus driver and go, hey, call the police, or do I just let this go? And I let it go. So there's an unsolved murder out there, and I think I'm the one that could have put that guy away.
God, yeah. The people you encounter, the weirdos, some of the conversations you have. Because, I was just thinking of you on those buses back then. I mean, yesterday I went to the airport and I had a full day of travel with a connection. I left, my flight was at 7:30 leaving LA, got into New York at 7 o'clock at night. But right before I checked my bags, I wanted to add some stuff to my luggage. So, I take it out and I put it all in and I check my luggage and I'm going through security and I'm like, oh, where's my phone? Oh, no. Yeah. I just knew that it was in my luggage that's checked. And I'm like, I have to go this whole day without my phone. And thankfully, I didn't know this. You can go back to the desk and they will go rummage through your luggage for you if you tell them what to look for.
That's a good tip.
I thought it was long gone. I was like, wait, well, I'm just going to go throughout my day without it and hopefully connect on the plane, be able to get my Bluetooth, somehow scream at Alexa.
Yeah. I'd rather lose a family member than my phone. I'm being honest with you.
It feels that devastating, but I was kind of accepting, I'm just going to go through my day without podcasts or my white noise machine, everything that's on my phone. But that used to be the way. I mean, you were just alone with your thoughts.
Yeah. And listening to people.
And listening to people. Yeah. And
I remember being on one of those long Greyhound rides. I mean, I'm saying some of these bus rides
you got status
longer
with
than 20. I would buy 30-day Ameripasses. You would go anywhere Greyhound would go for 30 days for one price.
Oh, that's cool.
And I remember one time just exhausted, sitting in the chair. They're not super comfortable, and thinking to myself, if anytime I wouldn't be able to sleep in the future in a bed, that I would remember that moment because at the time all I wanted to do was lie down, and I go, I get to lie down every other day of my life, and I don't realize what a luxury it is. So I'm going to use this moment to realize what a luxury that is in the future. And I do that from time to time where I go, I'm not on a Greyhound bus,
That is such I love that. And I thought that same thing yesterday when I had a long day of travel where you just sit on your ass all day. So you go, why am I exhausted from this? You kind of don't let yourself be exhausted. But I got home and I was laying in bed and I was like, laying down is amazing. It is. And I didn't get to do that all day. And that's why I deserve this right now, because I had to be upright. And that is so fun. I love that I think that's important when you're in an uncomfortable situation that you don't want to be in. mark it in your head as like, when I don't have to be in this situation, really enjoy it.
Yes.
And that's how you can get through
I do
those.
that with being sick, for sure. When you just like
yeah.
can't breathe right, and you're like, oh, the other day I was breathing good and I didn't even care.
Yes.
I didn't enjoy it at all.
How about like when you're young and your older brother holds you underwater, you know? And you're
Yes.
like, all I want to do is breathe. Could you imagine, like, if every breath when you did come up for the rest of your life, you just like celebrate it with the most ecstatic joy? Oh, that's fantastic! Oh my God! Oh man, the breathing is wonderful.
We should
But it is
feel
wonderful.
like
Should
that
be doing
all the time.
It is wonderful. If
Brian,
only
I
we
just
could
came up
learn
with
to appreciate it.
I just came up with an idea.
Yes.
I'm going to pitch it to you right now.
Okay.
New Netflix. I know you have one coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Executive produced by Jerry Seinfeld. Brian Regan, back to basics. You go back to the comedy condo. You go back to the Greyhounds. You open up and MC shows at the Funny Bones. Document it. It sounds awesome, right?
Thanks.
That
I feel like the
sounds
Tampa
like
Funny Bone came up with this
terrible.
idea.
Thanks for the suggestion.
Chad just wants someone else living his life as an adult man.
You're gonna get $200 a week.
Get the feeling we're going to switch places in this pitch.
It's like a fish out of water. It's a fish out of water
Yeah,
series.
You stay in your pond and you let Brian stay in his tank, okay? Enough out of you.